All right, what we got?
When you looked at the film and you talked to Patrick about sort of what went wrong compared to you talked after the game that he looked different in practice during the week than in that game. What have you kind of come to the conclusion what went wrong for him on Saturday?
Well, I think people showed up in the stands. You know?
Simple as that.
Well, it's not as simple as that, no. But once you get in the game and you get in that type of environment, things happen fast if you're really, really not prepared. And I think he is trying to get prepared. I think he's working hard to get prepared. But his opportunities to prepare so far this season are still limited. You know, he still only had 6 real practices with the offense. So I think once we got out there, things started happening fast to him. He kind of forgot everything he knew, and he reverted back to what he's always done. And that was the big thing I told him on the sideline. You know, if you're going to play quarterback in college, you've got to play like a college quarterback. You can't do it like you did in high school. It's not going to work. And he had a few things he probably reverted back to the way he did things in high school.
How common is that, Randy, among freshmen?
Well, it's common among everyone. You know, once you get out there and the chaos starts, which, you know, until you've played a lot of ball and you've really prepared a lot, it is chaos. Once you get in chaos, you revert back to your training. And if your training hasn't been enough or you haven't done it long enough to where your training is to do things right every time, you revert back to what you've always done.
Is the quarterback plan still the same for this game, or do you change it up based on how the game flow is going, maybe, or?
Well, a little bit, Jen. We'll figure out exactly what the plan is as the week goes on. Yeah, and it's always a hard thing. You know, you have a plan to put a guy in. You know, last week we moved the ball pretty well the first 2 series. We put Patrick in, and we never was really able to get it going again. But at the same time, it's almost unfair to put a guy in if things aren't going well. You know, so it's a roll of the dice. Hopefully it works out well. You know, you look at it after the game, it's easy to figure out what you should have done. But in the heat of the moment, you try to figure out what's best. You know, things were going pretty well. We thought maybe the success the other 10 guys were having could help carry Patrick along. And I don't think what Patrick did killed our momentum. It was what everyone, all 11 guys out there did that killed the momentum.
Patrick seemed...
And plus a little bit what Missouri did. I thought Missouri made a few adjustments. And, you know, it's the hardest thing about coaching young people, whether it's quarterback, especially quarterback, but whether it's receivers, linemen, or whatever, is making those end-game adjustments.
So if you have that same scenario again this week, what do you do?
We're going to do whatever Joker says he wants to do. He's the one with the comedies check. You know. But no, yeah, seriously, it's something we'll have to discuss. And, you know, Joker and I will discuss it. The rest of the staff will have their input, and you know, we'll try to figure out what we think is the best thing for us to have a chance to win.
Patrick hasn't really failed probably in many years in a football game. He seems to be a really self-assured guy. How has he handled sort of struggling for the first time and on a big stage?
Well, I think he's handling it well. You know, like I say, it's the first time. And, you know, I think last week he played, I think it was 14 plays. I don't remember exactly how many it was against Mississippi State, but it was somewhere along that line before he got injured. So, you know, the guy's played a little bit. You know, he's practiced a little bit and he has played a little bit. I hope he'll keep making progress where he can play more because, you know, Jalen is doing about as well as we can expect him to do. We'd like for him to do better, but realistically, where you expect him to be, he's not that far off. You know, he needs some help from someone, and if Patrick can come in and provide some help, then that's a bonus for him. You know, looking back in hindsight, if I had something to do over again last week, I would have probably got Morgan in the game. That's the quarterback thing because I thought that helped Jalen against Georgia. It's just, you know, when you start playing 3 of them, it's where you're really breaking a lot of momentum then sometimes.
Randy, how do you evaluate the issues related to when Max went out? Like, how much of it is related to not having Max versus, you know, mistakes and issues that shouldn't be made at game 9 or 10 of the season by young guys or even older guys?
Well, there's no question we miss Max. We've been through all those things a lot, you know, through the last 8 weeks, I guess, or 7 weeks, however long it's been. You know, there's some mistakes made that you certainly don't expect. You know, procedure penalties, getting holding penalties, fumbling the ball. Those are things that we can control easily that you expect guys to control. And probably the thing that's most disappointing about some of those mistakes is they were from some of the older guys, some of the guys that's played a lot of football. And those are things that you have to address and you have to correct. We're in a position offensively, we have to play pretty clean. We can't have penalties, we can't turn the ball over. We don't have the firepower right now to overcome those mistakes. And so we have to play clean, and certainly the older guys have to be the ones setting the example for playing clean.
Randy, there were a couple of times Missouri I noticed had 10 people or 11 people 10 yards off the ball. Does that affect a young quarterback, or is that something you prepare for? You just assume everyone's going to do that to you now?
Well,
maybe not every time.
Well, the thing they did, and they did show us a couple of blitz looks, but they didn't bring much blitz. Very, very little blitz. And unfortunately, again, I've said it before, the easiest thing for a young quarterback to play against is blitz. Because as a play caller, you can help them out. You can max protect, throw it to that guy. When they start showing you the blitz looks and bailing out, that's when as a quarterback you really have to see where they go to, and you have to execute against those things. And very similar to what Mississippi State did to Jalen, and that's what Missouri did. And they called Patrick a couple times last week. The one he got sacked and fumbled on was that exact type scenario. And from the answer he gave me on the sideline, he obviously did not see anything that happened during the play.
What do you expect Vanderbilt to do?
I expect Vanderbilt to mix it up. To mix it up. I'm sure they'll try to pressure us some. Because it seems like once you plant that seed in a young guy's head, it stays there. Sometimes it's hard to get it out. But I also expect them to drop back and play zone and try to make those guys execute. You watch it on tape, there's certainly no reason not to.
Is that mentality that you guys are going to face and have been facing week after week one of the reasons it is important to put a guy in from time to time that can push the ball down the field?
Well, that helps, but what's even more important is not to have those penalties, to get ourselves in 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 3s and 3rd and 5s, where you have a lot of options to convert to 3rd down instead of having 3rd and 12 or 3rd and 14. When you get in those situations, it makes it much tougher to convert, and it limits our options and opens up the defense's playbook. Whereas we got 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, then it opens up our playbook and limits our options a little bit.
Folks, we need to get the coaches on that.